Hello, I'm Arun Malhotra, and we're back with ETAuto Unplugged Season 3. ETAuto Unplugged, a program in which we focus on the different segments and facets of the unique auto industry. We get industry leaders, thought leaders, who really analyze the industry segment and tell us the clear path, the way industry is heading for the future, or how they have to envision the future. Today we are talking of a segment of the industry which sometimes doesn't remain too much in the media limelight, but which is very central to the country. It is a barometer of the country's economy. It is also an industry which can say that it keeps the wheels of the nation moving. I'm talking of the commercial vehicle industry. And to discuss some of the commercial vehicle industry, the different facets, the uniqueness, the challenges, the opportunities, the path ahead, I have a person who's not only MD CEO of a company, but he's recognized as the undisputed voice of the industry in the country. I'm talking about nobody else than Mr. Satyakam Arya, who's MD and CEO of Daimler India Commercial Vehicles. Welcome, Satyakam, to ETAuto Unplugged.
Thank you so much, Arun, for this.
So, before we get to the commercial vehicle, when I see your name, Satyakam Arya, I haven't met the other person whose name is Satyakam. The only person I know who's Satyakam is a famous Hindi classic in late 60s, 69, Rishikesh Mukherjee, where Dharmender was the key person and he was called Satyakam. So I just want to know how your name Satyakam comes across.
Well, this is a question I'm often asked. And honestly, I've not seen this movie yet. I would. Many people recommend it to me. So there is a short story about that. In India, when a child is born, the name is decided after roughly 40 days of the birth. And then there's a priest coming who's giving the alphabet with which you should actually choose the name. The same happened with me. And the alphabet given was S or Sa. But in this case, the priest said, apart from the alphabet, I would also recommend a name for this child, which is Satyakam. I don't know whether he liked this movie or he said that this is how I would be, but that's how the name came.
Great, great. So, Satyakam, just to take us through your journey from school, college to the corporate world, people are always fascinated. People in the industry leaders, how they reached, what they've done, what have been their challenges and struggles and where they have achieved. So just to take a snapshot of your early days till the time today.
Sure. Well, I was actually born not far away from the place where we are sitting today. Okay. I was born in Faridabad.
Okay.
Did most of my schooling there. And then I did my engineering also from Haryana.
Okay.
So that was my childhood. I actually was... I had a passion for automobiles since I was a kid. Right? The only toys I bought were either a car or a truck or a bus. And I think that passion took me towards engineering. I did mechanical engineering. And I clearly remember that time that when you come out of an engineering college, your dream job is to be in an automotive company. And with God's grace, I joined Maruti. Way back in 1995.
Maruti was one of the most difficult companies to crack.
It was.
For fresh engineers. It was the most coveted company during that time.
Absolutely. If I remember the statistics correctly, about 1 lakh people appear, fresh graduates appear for the exam, and about 35 are selected. And I would consider myself lucky to get there. Joined supply chain division after 1 year of training. And I think Maruti, that time, it was a government company, gave me a very good foundation to shape my career later on. The process focus, the Japanese culture, and a very strong growth and cost mindset. Right? That's what Maruti was. I remember when I joined, they used to make about 300,000 cars. And when I left after 9 years, they were more than 2 times of that. Right? And from there, then I went to some other automotive companies like Renault Nissan when they came to India. Spent a short time with Mahindra. And then in 2009, I joined Daimler. Right? So Daimler was planning to enter India that time. and it was a greenfield assignment. Was very, very exciting. So that pulled me to joining this company. So since 2009 now I've been with Daimler, handling different assignments, of course. I started with doing the supply chain for them. It was a greenfield project, as I said, so I had to set up the supply chain for the company that time. I also got a chance to then work in Japan. Our Asia Pacific headquarter was in Japan. So I went to Japan, lived in Tokyo for about 5 years.
5 years?
5 years.
Okay.
I handled supply chain there when I started. But then I said it has been quite a long time in supply chain, and I should do something else. And then I got into an internal kind of deliberation on what could I do, right? And I chose customer service to work because also partly technical, partly commercial job, and gave me the opportunity to understand the perspective of the customer, right? How it impacts the entire processes in the company. How can you shape your business keeping customer in mind, right? So I took that plunge, handled customer service for about 2 years. And this time I was in company Mitsubishi Fuso in Japan. And they have pretty large operation, not only in Japan, but also globally. You know, they supply their products to almost every country in the world. So imagine customer service or after sales network is
in diverse markets,
very
diverse segments.
Very, very comprehensive, well laid out around the world. And that is what I had to manage, right? So it was a very, very interesting change I did. In Japan, Mitsubishi Fuso has some other companies as well. So I also got chance during that time to head one of the companies as CEO, and then later on as chairman. This company is Pepco. They make bodies for the trucks, and they're not just a captive supplier to Mitsubishi Fuso. They also supply in the market to the competitors of Mitsubishi Fuso. So in that way, it's quite an independent company.
And when did you return back to India and just became MD CEO?
So I came back in 2018, end of 2018, after spending 5 years, because I was offered the chance to head the company, which I was a part of when it was set up. So that was kind of a dream come true. We had established Bharat-Benz brand way back in 2012, and to come back and lead that company.
So in 23 years from a GT, you became MD CEO of a multinational.
Yes.
So that's from log cabin to White House, if I may use the term. So that's great and very inspiring. And that what I think comes out clearly is that you have to work across different verticals, different geographies, if you really need to understand. You can't get constrained by, you know, a lot of people get into this comfort zone. I want to operate here, do this function.
Absolutely.
That doesn't really.
You know, I always call this my own theory. It's called a T theory, right? In a company, there are different functions, there are different business areas. It's absolutely important to understand all of them. But there's at least one domain you should get really deep into. That's what it makes the T. So for me, the vertical part of the T is the supply chain, where I spent a lot of time. But then I took the chance and the opportunity to look at other aspects.
And even supply chain, you look from different perspectives, different segments, different geographies.
Yeah.
So
I think that prepared me for the role.
So great. So for you, it's been baptism by fire, if I may say it.
Absolutely.
So then, you know, when you come to the commercial vehicle industry, people loosely call it commercial vehicles. But there are different segments in itself in the industry, and the dynamics of the different segments are very different. So could you just, for our audience, these segments of light, medium, how does it, from a simple manner, to demystify this? Because there's a lot of confusion on this.
There is. It is complex, but let me try to, you know, explain this in a simple manner that everyone gets it. So when you talk about commercial vehicle industry, first of all, it's a B2B industry.
It's a B2B industry.
So it's a serious business, right?
So B2C is not serious as per you.
B2C is serious. It requires some seriousness, but there is a kind of glamour around it, I would say, right? Which is not the case with commercial vehicle. It's a serious business, right? Now, if you start to dissect the whole industry segment, and to do it simply, on the truck side, there are three main segments, right? It's the light commercial vehicles, it's the medium commercial vehicles, and it's the heavy commercial vehicles.
Okay.
The light commercial vehicle is up to 9 tons GVW, right? So up to 9 tons,
gross vehicle weight.
Gross vehicle weight. That's the light commercial vehicles. Then the medium commercial vehicles, which is from 10 ton to 19 ton, right? And then anything above 19 ton is the heavy commercial vehicle part, right?
And this is the definition is standardized across the industry, or different players use it differently?
Different players have some differences, but if you have to understand at a very high level
9
and
ton.
simply, this is how the
And
industry
even within this, there could be sub-segments.
there are sub-segments, N1, N2, but that will make it again very complex.
Okay, so
but
these
just to understand from the audience perspective, these are the three main segments.
And what would be the dynamics different from the three segments? One is the
Very, very
weight,
different.
one is the weight and payload.
Very, very different. And let me maybe explain the characteristics of
Characteristics,
each
that's important.
segment, and then we can talk about the differences. So anything below 9 ton is a small commercial vehicle which moves within the city mostly.
Intracity.
Right. So it is for the delivery of FMCG, the MSMEs, whatever they produce, they have to deliver, or the last mile delivery when you order something online, right? That happens from a small truck, and that's the small commercial vehicle or light commercial vehicle segment. This is quite a big part of the industry. So if you look at the Indian automotive or commercial vehicle, this is, let's say, 800 to 900,000 trucks a year, right? About 50 to 60% is the light commercial vehicle. So when it comes to volume, that's the segment, right? The people who buy these trucks, these are mostly people who have 1 or 2 trucks, or they are driving it on their own. That's their livelihood, right? So that's the nature of the industry as well. When it comes to fuel types, it will be diesel, it will also be petrol in some segments, it will also be CNG. So about 10 to 15% penetration, you will find CNG in this segment. This segment has also grown very well in India. Just to give you some numbers, the CAGR over the last years has been 10 to 12%.
Which is very good.
Which is almost twice
Than
of the other segments. Right? So it's the fastest growing industry, primarily driven by the demand for last mile delivery.
Connectivity.
Right?
Last mile.
Look at how many more things we order online than we used to do in the past.
Absolutely.
Right? So that drives
So that's
this
the light
industry.
commercial vehicle.
So that's the light commercial vehicle segment. Then you come to the medium commercial vehicles, which is more like distribution, right? These are bigger trucks. You will find them parked, many of them parked in a local marketplace because they take loads as people come to them, right? This segment is also the segment which drives e-commerce in the country. Right?
Achha, that's the segment.
So all what we order from Amazon, if it has to go from main warehouse to a satellite warehouse, it will be mostly these trucks.
Medium commercial.
Right. So distribution between two cities, right? E-commerce, this is what
It will be more intrastate, you could say.
Intrastate, right? Or intercity.
Intercity, that's right.
Right. And this segment is about 7 to 10% of the industry volume. So 70,000 to 100,000 trucks. The good part is this is the fastest growing segment right now. Again, driven by e-commerce, right? Fastest growing. You will find this mostly diesel today. There is some penetration of CNG, but that's like single digit percentage, right? Then we come to the heavy commercial vehicle. This is more than 19 ton, as I said. These are the trucks you will find on the highways mostly, right? They will transport everything related to infrastructure, right? Steel, cement, all those things, right? And here it's about multi-axle rigid trucks. So you'll find a lot of axles, or the tractor where you have a trailer attached to the truck, or the construction trucks which help to construct all the roads, bridges, flyovers, which we all see. Now, this is about, let's say, 25 to 30% of the industry volume. Again, mainly diesel, and now slowly LNG is coming in as a fuel.
We'll discuss on the fuel part. So, very fascinating. You simplified it in such a manner. A lot of people get all over the place in terms of load and in terms of usage, because that is what defines it, and the size of the thing part of it. So, that's very, very fascinating. Coming to ownership in this entire thing, as you said, in the light commercial vehicles, it is generally owned 1 or 2 vehicles you own. How does it shift dramatically as you go higher?
So it shifts very dramatically from segment to segment. So LCVs are small players. when it comes to medium commercial vehicles, you will find again a big variety of customers, right? People who have one truck, they are driving it. People have 2 to 3 trucks. And then there are large fleet owners who have a fleet of medium commercial vehicles, right? When it comes to heavy commercial vehicles, it's mostly medium and large size.
So large size, so large fleets. Basically.
Because the ticket size of each truck is also quite big.
That's right.
So that's how it varies.
So that's fascinating. I think we should have a small section just taken out from this just to classify this industry. Now, if I have a look at the industry for the last 2 decades, just want to understand which have been the key inflection points which the industry has changed. Inflection points could be in terms of government, regulation.
Right.
It's big things which have made the industry change, whether in terms of technology, in terms of the type of vehicle or the type of customer needs or regulation.
Well, before we come to the last 20 years, maybe let me say a sentence or few sentences on how this industry started.
That's just started.
I think it'll be good
Yeah,
for
good
people to
know.
know how did trucking start in India, right? The first truck which was produced in India was somewhere in 1954 or 55.
Okay.
It was made by Tata, but it was a Mercedes-Benz truck.
And that's what
So
it
if you would recall, if you have seen those old trucks on the road, it had a star on the grill, right? Because we had given the technical license that time to Tata Motors. So that's how the trucking started. And then from that point till, let's say about mid of 90s, this was an industry which was very small sized industry. It grew very organically. And there were traditional players. There was very less focus on technology. It was more like you have to carry goods from point A to point B. There is no time target to reach point
low
B.
Maintenance, easy servicing,
easy vehicles, right? And then there is no time target. There is no efficiency thought process, right? So that's how the industry was. So, but from 90s till let's say 2005, the industry actually started to grow, right? It grew.
It was linked to the liberalization of the economy also coming in. In
91 the liberalization happened, and that gave a good fillip to the industry that started to grow from a volume of 70 to 90,000 units, early 90s. It actually came to about 200,000 units in 2005. So that was one big inflection point. As the liberalization
was the inflection point.
That was the inflection point. And more players also started to enter the industry, right? So because of that, right? So the second inflection point actually happened between 2005 and 2018, the period of 13 years, where industry had a massive growth. From 200,000, it actually touched a peak of 800,000 in 2018. Right.
Any specific reason why the driver? What was the driver for this major?
The driver was mainly the economic growth.
Economy opening up.
Economy opening up, that led to this kind of growth, right? And then when you come from 2018 till now, the 7-year, right? This has been a period of lots of highs and lows.
COVID was during that time.
COVID came. In between this time, the emissions changed. So from a BS1 way back in 90s, we are now in the second step of BS6, right? And if you look at the pace with which we started to change emissions has also dramatically quickened, right? So we did 3.
So this parallelly moved along with the passenger vehicle, the way Euro 1 to Euro 6.
Absolutely.
Generally, one assumes that commercial vehicles were given a lighter treatment. I mean, they could do. This was never the case. So that's a misconception.
That's a misconception. The entire industry, the entire automotive industry shifted to BS6 altogether at the peak of COVID, right? First wave when it was going.
But this didn't apply to earth-moving equipment and tractors.
Not. The construction equipment is a bit different.
And even the
they
tractor.
don't ply on roads.
And tractors also different, more rural. So that's.
But commercial vehicle primarily is on the road and they follow the same regulations, right? So I would say the second inflection point came during that time when we came to that high volume. And emissions actually deeply impacted the industry during that time, right? We saw one more thing during that phase. A lot of players entered and many of them exited also.
Not easy industry.
It's not an easy industry, right? It's ruthlessly competitive, if I may use that word, right? So you have to get your basics right to survive and to thrive in this industry. Right?
So, and also this industry's old brand values mean a lot.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's something which is a very important part.
I would say this industry is also undergoing a massive transformation
Now.
in many aspects, and I'm sure we will
Okay.
pick up some of those aspects. And therefore, you have to be very, very dynamic.
So let's take last 2, 3, 4 years, or what's happening today. One in terms of regulation, and regulation could be more in terms of the vehicle manufacturing. You talk about the Euro things, and regulations could be also in terms of when you use it on the road. There are regulations, state government regulations. Second would be in terms of customers. One, the change in technology are requiring a different need, and third would be some sort of comfort and convenience which is never talked of in this vehicle. So just want to know what's happening in these 2, 3 areas.
So let me pick up the regulation first, right? Some regulations which have deeply impacted the industry, or they continue to shape the industry. First one is emissions, right? We used to have a kind of 5-year window for one step of emission change, right? That was kind of a classical approach. We had standard classical approach. And we disrupted it with change from BS4 to BS6.
Jumping
3
BS5
years,
totally.
And then we did the second step of BS6 in another 3 years, right? So that was a very fast-paced change, right? The second regulation which had a very deep impact on commercial vehicles was the change of axle load, right? Now let me describe it very simply.
That's something which you must tell people.
So every truck has multiple axles, and each axle can carry a certain amount of load. We talked about the GVW, but then there is a payload, the weight which the truck carries.
Payload is what it carries.
Right? So that drives the efficiency or the economics of a commercial vehicle. What happened in 2018 when the industry was at its peak? The government came with a regulation which actually said that every truck could carry 20 to 25% more payload.
It's allowed.
Right from the next day.
This was a more populist measure, or it was a thought-out measure?
I will come to that, right? But this was not only for the trucks which will be produced from then on.
Oh, it is also for
It was also applicable to all the trucks which are running on the Indian road.
So that would impact your market also.
Absolutely. So exactly. So, you know, this was a change which brought a dramatic change.
And this came overnight, or there was a lot of industry discussion or something, because you didn't require anything to be done.
Not much. I was not in the country that time. I came and this just happened, or just had happened. Now this had very wide ramifications, and I will touch upon those because it has such a big impact. See, if the commercial vehicle industry is looking for efficiency, right? It's a B2B business, right? Now there are 2 ways in which you can do that. You keep the payload constant. You say, I will do more trips, right? Which means frequency. You need a stronger engine and a more reliable engine. But you need to have the infrastructure in place. Then you can do more trips, you gain efficiency, right? India did not have infrastructure that time, as we are building now, right? So India could not choose that option. This option or this pathway, let's say, has been taken by all Western economies. You will find trucks which are 18-ton GVW, they have a 400 to 500 horsepower engine. But they run 22 hours, they do much more trips than we do in India.
So turnaround is much higher.
Much, much better, right? Since we did not have the infrastructure, we could not take this option. So what did we do? We said, we cannot do more trips. Powertrain, we don't need that kind of powertrain because we don't have the infrastructure. A truck is doing maybe 30 kilometers per hour in the best case, or on a highway maybe 40, 50 kilometers per hour. Why do you need a bigger or more efficient engine? Let's increase the payload. Right? So we took this pathway to gain efficiency.
But tell me, when you increase the payload and the vehicle, existing vehicles have been made with a certain payload in mind, doesn't it impact the performance of the vehicle?
It impacts, but you know, historically, all CV manufacturers know that there is overloading happening.
So factor of safety is
there is a factor of safety, but we also do more because we know there is overloading happening.
But then that starts working on the higher level even.
Absolutely.
So
and that is what is happening right now. It is happening right now, right? So it's not the best way which we took, but since we did not have infrastructure and there was a strong need to increase efficiency or bring down the cost of operation, we took this way.
Okay.
Now, what happened due to that? Trucks used to be traditionally 2 or 3 axles. Now you'll find trucks with 5 or 6 axles.
So they are bigger trucks.
Right. Now, you gain the payload, but what you also lose is the performance on safety. Means imagine a 55-ton monster running on the road. How do you stop it? You will have brakes, obviously. We up the performance
We
of
say,
brakes.
used to remember the old formula of force is equal to mass into acceleration.
Absolutely, you can do that calculation, right? And the third thing, which I've not seen too much discussion on that, what is the impact of that on maintenance of infrastructure?
Ooh.
The maintenance cost of infrastructure in our projection would actually go up by 20 to 25%.
You know, that's
over
what
a
is
period.
happening also. If you look at the new infrastructures made, the way they are getting deteriorated faster is I don't know, now that's a linkage which I see. The infrastructure don't sustain over that period of time.
So I believe this was a change we did. There was a pressing need to gain efficiency, obviously, but it's not a long-lasting change. As the infrastructure now comes up, we will have to come to the pathway 1, which is less payload, but more, or let's say stronger powertrains and more reliable powertrains, and then you can do more trips. That's how you gain efficiency. So it's a structural change we did. Another structural change which we should be prepared for in the next years to come back to that pathway, right? Now, it had another impact on the industry, right? Overnight, you could carry 25% more load. It was regularized, right? Which means even if the GDP grows, the freight volume grows, you will not see the reflection of that in the number of trucks sold, because each truck could carry 25% more. So that's why, you know, when we
But
talk,
that would impact more the medium and heavy commercial. Small commercial vehicle will not be impacted by that.
So that's why you see better growth in small commercial vehicles, but you don't see the same in the heavy commercial vehicles, where it had a maximum.
But is also the size of the heavy commercial vehicle going up in the new production? Or if you see the shift in higher tonnage?
So the higher tonnage, so people can carry more load, and therefore you need less trucks, right?
But also it's also making, people are making trucks now also of higher tonnage, or is that also happening?
So the limit is to go to 49 tons,
Okay.
right? But they are prepared for overload, right? And then they can carry more, right?
So that's a question which is not really much discussed in the media. I mean, this is something, a point and you have seen all this in the recent past, all the infrastructures cracking up, whether it's rains or this thing, much faster pace. Now I can see the linkage also what you're talking of.
So just finishing the regulation part, the other regulation which recently came in is the air conditioning, which I think is a good step to increase the driver comfort and convenience, which we just talked about. Bringing air conditioning is also a safety thing, right? Because we know how many of accidents statistically are caused by driver fatigue, right? Now, if for a driver, this is the work area, right? And we know they drive long hours, so that definitely helps. If you look ahead a bit, we are talking of safety regulations as the next big change, which I think is much needed in our country, and that's the ADAS kind of features, which are actually scheduled to come very, very soon. Right? So that's the regulation part.
Just on the regulation part, there's one view of the industry or one view of certain people that we are getting into more and more regulations on safety, but what we have, we don't enforce them. So we're trying to go to a higher level without getting the benefit of what we already have. Take the clear case in seat belts, rear seat belts. Somebody said the rear seat belt usage is 1%. Now you got all rear seat belts.
Right. Because see, technology can definitely add value or can enhance safety, but it's not the only thing which can bring safety. And that's where the behavior of people has
Education,
to change.
enlightenment, enforcement.
I want to pick up what I learned in Japan while I was there. I remember reading a report from JAMA, Japanese Automobile Manufacturers Association, which gave the entire statistics about the industry in Japan. And it mentioned they had 3,072 deaths in that year due to road accidents. Now compare that to
India,
what we have, right? I understand they have less population, but the way they handle road safety is dramatically different, right? Right from childhood, how they train the person towards safety is very, very different, right? I think we also have to look at those aspects. If
So
you
we're
want to
talking of
really,
education, enlightenment, enforcement.
absolutely, it's
all
more
three.
like indoctrination.
Indoctrination, which you say education or enlightenment, which is the indoctrination. And at the starting level, at the point,
Absolutely.
the social structure, that's part of it.
Then only the behavior will change.
So these are the changes which are there. Now, as we look at the industry today, what are the big challenges and opportunities? Because there will be certain challenges and there will be some opportunities.
A lot of them.
So let's look at the challenges first. Opportunities we can look later. First, let's look at the challenges first.
So if you look at the challenges, one of the major challenge right now is, it's great that we are catching up on regulation, but that also has a cost, right? Just to give you one statistic, we did BS6 in 2020, right, 5 years. From then on till now, the cost of a truck has gone up by about 40 to 45% due to various regulations and inflation, right? 40 to 45% in a short period of 5 years, right? The market has a certain
And
appetite.
this is a very competitive market, so it couldn't have gone up because of monopolies. So it's gone up because of
It has gone up because the
demand
input
supply,
costs,
demand supply,
input costs have gone
input
up.
costs up, and you cannot beyond a point.
So that's a big one for the market to take, right? So that's also leading to the fact that people are looking for more efficiency from the assets they have, right? So that's one major challenge. The second big challenge is the shortage of drivers. Right?
Software, you know.
Absolutely. And many studies show that the shortage of drivers is about 20% than what the industry needs, right? I have never met someone who said that I want my child or my kid to grow up to be a truck driver, because of all the nuances with that kind of profession.
There are other alternatives available also. So
Absolutely, absolutely. So
it's a tough life. It's a very tough life.
It's a very, very tough life. So that's the second big challenge. The third big challenge is, there is still a lot of volatility in the freight rates in the country, right? And that's leading to the fact that the profitability of the fleet owners is not something to boast about, right? They are growing along with the economy, but that's also a challenge in that way. There is also a lot of consolidation happening in the industry right now, right? As the infrastructure comes up, you need efficiency to be competitive, right? Which means you need to continue to invest in the business at an aggressive pace, right? And not all fleet owners, especially the medium and small ones, have that capability to invest, right? So you also see a lot of consolidation happening in the industry due to that. So these are some of the
I was
major
talking to one or two big fleet owners, and they said the number of trucks they own today is lesser than what they used to own
Absolutely.
5 years back.
One is the axle load.
Axle
which I
load, they
talked
said
about,
the same
right?
thing which you're saying.
You
Now
could-
I can relate it to it. Why?
Right.
And these are people who are growing. These are successful businessmen. I'm not talking about businessmen who have gone down because of various other issues.
Yeah. Now, coming to the opportunity part, I think I would put that in two parts, right? One is the volume or the growth of the industry. That's a big, big opportunity in front of us. And the second is other aspects. So let me touch the growth part first. Right? So the total industry, as I said earlier, is about 9 lakh trucks in a year. Where could this go to? Now, one yardstick or barometer, like you earlier said, is the GDP. India is the fastest growing economy, and I think we all believe that it will stay that way for the next years. So if the economy grows by 6 to 6.5%, you could safely take that the CV industry will also grow by 5 to 6%. Right? It should have been higher.
Actually more. Actually.
It should have been higher, but there is a reason why I say 5 to 6%. Actually, as per mathematics, it should be about 7 to 8%, right? But it's 5 to 6% because the industry will also become more efficient as we grow, right? Because of, again, all the infrastructure coming up. So that leads to the fact that you don't see the growth reflecting in the volumes. Second, we also see some portion of the freight movement shifts to rail.
That's a development which I've seen.
So if you take these two into account, I said it will impact the growth rate by 1 to 2%, and therefore it will be 5 to 6%. Obviously, within the segments, there would be different numbers.
But the light commercial vehicle, since we're last mile connectivity, e-commerce, that should grow at a much faster
That
pace.
will grow faster.
Faster pace.
So that will grow faster. The e-commerce segment in median commercial vehicle will go faster. We are also seeing a structural change happening. The multi-axle trucks are shifting to tractor trailers.
Tractor trailers.
As infrastructure is coming up, right? So today, tractor trailers is about 22% of heavy commercial vehicles. This will go to 30% in next 5 years, right? Because now you can maneuver those trucks on the highways.
Are they more stable? Tractor trailers would be less.
They are more efficient.
More efficient.
They're definitely much more efficient. You know, apart from the fuel, the second biggest cost input to a truck is the tires.
Tires.
Right? So they have less tires, they can go faster, you can decouple the trailer, take the horse, put the next trailer, move on, right? Those kind of things are yet to come to India, right? So that's coming to the growth part, and let me address something here, which I think will be very interesting for people to know. If you look at the commercial vehicle industry, what are the drivers of growth or volume? One is the economy, right? The second is the per capita income, and the third is the population. All these three have very strong correlation to the commercial vehicle. The correlation is as high as 0.9, right? And now you compare India to China, right? We have 1.4 billion people. They also have 1.4 billion people. But they sell roughly 1 million heavy commercial vehicles.
1 million.
And we are at 300,000. Medium to heavy, right? So that's the kind of opportunity which is in front of us, mid to long term, right? So as India invests in infrastructure, as the economy grows from 4 trillion to 10 trillion to 15 trillion, there is no doubt that we will
Industry
get there.
Will grow.
Right?
So if a country economy is growing, it will grow.
It will grow, but you need infrastructure. Per capita income grows, so consumption grows, and that needs more movement of freight.
One of the things which is being discussed a lot is about scrappage of old vehicles. How is that faring out? Is it more a buzzword or is it really happening?
Well, it
Organized.
started.
See, one is that I'll give up my truck myself willingly because my truck cannot run. Other is by law. Is the scrappage happening?
It is happening, but it's not happening as it could happen. Right? It
So that was supposed to be the driver also for further sales.
It started as a buzzword, right? But we did not have the infrastructure in place to handle that kind of scrapping because we never did it in the past. So there is a lot of accumulated old vehicles.
But a lot of people say the scrappage centers which are made, and I'm not very sure they're for trucks, but they are quite underutilized.
They are. So, you know, we are
So
in
this
that
anomaly.
phase. We are in that phase where we first have to put the basics in place or necessary enablers in place for that to happen. And then you need a bit of push or a nudge.
That push nudge cannot come so easily because
it cannot.
Because
now,
it's in a democratic country.
Absolutely.
We've seen about the.
And you know, we also many times draw parallels from how other countries did it. There are examples like Turkey did it, Europe did it, US did it. They paid huge incentives for scrapping. I do not think India can afford that, which means it will happen in a different way, more organic, step by step. As the testing centers come up, as the scrappage centers
One is the enforcement part of it, I mean by law. That's one part of it.
Absolutely.
But the second part is clearly what you said is also, I mean, the industry incentive which is there, whether it's from the government, from the companies, or the taxes which are there. I mean, there are enough taxes in the structure. You can actually reduce a lot of taxes which are there.
Yes. So it will pick up step by step. We will not see.
But it's early days.
It's very, very early.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, where are we on the scrappage journey as far as truck is concerned?
I think we are more like 2 to 3 right now. Right? We need a lot more scrappage centers. We need the testing centers. We need enforcement. We need the mindset change.
So it's a complete 360-degree view which you've taken. Now coming to shifting to gears to fuel. Few years back there was a Ketan Parekh report. Diesel has to be banned or diesel has to be converted to other. If I look at it, leave aside the three-wheel industry, and the dynamics is very different, and that even also the low-end three-wheelers. And whether it's passenger vehicles, whether it is two-wheelers, and whether it's commercial vehicles. Commercial vehicles is still 90% as you said, and I don't see it changing dramatically, although we hear these buzzwords, LNG, CNG, hydrogen. What is it, the reality? I mean, is it a practical proposition?
Well, let's take a step back. It's a very profound question. on why is it like that, right? See, India has chosen a different path to net zero than other countries, right? We have said 2070, we want to be net zero. But we have put another target in between, which no other country has put. We have said by 2050, we want to be energy independent.
Energy independent.
Right? Which is 20 years before the net zero target. Now, since we have put these two targets, it is impacting the actions we are taking, right? If we have to be energy independent before net zero, we need to look for quicker alternatives to replace diesel. So even if the gas, whether it's CNG or LNG, is not zero emission, we have decided to take that, right? Because
you're going for suboptimal solutions.
We are going for, let's say, transition.
Lesser. Transition or suboptimal is a strong word to use.
Right?
Transition is a better word to use.
So that's why we are saying, okay, anything better than diesel, we are ready to take that. And that's why we have so many technologies being talked about. So how I believe it will happen is, we will enter into a phase which is called a transition phase, which may last for about 20 years, where we will have a wide variety of fuels. Right? Diesel will continue to be there. We will also have CNG and LNG. We will also have some penetration of electric, and we will start to see some penetration of hydrogen in that period. Right? I call it the transition.
But generally, the National Hydrogen Commission, we say that if it can break through commercially, it can go very fast, or is it still early days?
It is still very early days, right? Beyond that transition period, will be only two technologies, which will be either electric or hydrogen, because these are destination technologies. They take us to zero emission.
Okay, so
right.
So great. I mean,
now,
transition and final destination.
Absolutely. Now, what happens due to this is, all manufacturers like us, or all component suppliers, or even the fleet owners, they will have to be prepared to handle multiple technologies in this transition phase. Right? Imagine a fleet owner who has 500 trucks, only diesel today. Then they will in future have, let's say, 20% gas. They will have maybe 5% electric, and they will also try out hydrogen as it comes.
So it should be a juggler and a symphony all combined together.
Absolutely. It's easier said than done.
No, it's very difficult.
Right? Imagine the dealerships have to handle multiple technologies. Imagine the customer has to handle trucks with multiple technologies. But we are also losing something in this trade-off, I would say. In which technology will India gain scale? Right? We are losing on that opportunity as well in this transition phase. Imagine, like I take the example of Western Europe. They said electric or hydrogen, right? Only these two technologies. They will gain scale on those two technologies. If we have 5, then we will not.
We filter away. I mean,
so this is a trade-off. But I think looking at these goals, we have decided to go in this path.
Shifting gears to the different stakeholders of the industry. One is the OEMs who are there. Then is the auto ancillary manufacturers, which is their auto components. Then is industry bodies. Then is government bodies, and let's put the central and state government together. And further is, which a lot of foreign countries use the academia, academic institutions of excellence to drive innovation. I just want to know where we stand today and what we need to do to get the best of all the things. Because unless we synchronize our effort or get people together aligned, like a Zubin Mehta synchron, it won't work. So where do we stand today? And what needs to be done? To me, that's the big question. Well, and that will answer the question of growth, all your questions of transition and everything.
In the last years, we have seen all these players coming together, right? Are we where we want to be?
Coming together in conferences or coming together in deed and action?
Let's say coming together a lot more in conferences, and we start to see some action on coming together on actions, right? So I believe there also we are on a journey, right? Because the kind of transformation we are going to face is so enormous, right? Unless we come together, we will not make the best out of it. Absolutely, right? Look at the fuel choice, for example. There are many more things, and I want to pick one aspect because we talked a lot about regulations. I think it will be very pertinent at this point that we have a clarity on next 15 years, what we want to do by when.
Clear
roadmap.
So everybody
it's a kind of roadmap. You want to do safety, you want to do emissions, zero emission, what could be done by when, right? If the industry and the government could come together and prepare a roadmap like that, everyone will have clarity. And then we all get back.
But this automotive mission plan, which is around the corner,
that's
doesn't
what I'm
answer
saying.
this
So
question.
we start to see some.
But then it has to become sacred, followed in letter and spirit.
Absolutely.
It can't be like a document which is just seen certain times.
And it has to be technology agnostic.
That's
I think
a very
the government has
interesting
to say,
What
this
is
is
best?
what we need. How we do it, let's leave it to the market forces to decide. Right? It has to be technology agnostic. So I think that's one thing which we must do. The second is, and we read a lot about it, the logistics cost as a percentage of GDP.
We say we're very high compared to
very high. We know the reasons for it. Look at the streets, right? There is a lot of improvement still to be done on infrastructure side and embracing technology, right? Thankfully, the fleet owners, stressed by competitiveness, they are asking for connected vehicles. They are asking for uptime performance. I think that's a great signal, and we must go in that direction.
And we have we are a software capital of the world, so we have the technology.
We have all the ingredients to do it, and that is happening. So that's a very encouraging thing to happen. The third thing, which I want to also talk about is, while we take all those leaps on technology, let's also get rid of some legacy things which we have carried. And I give you an example of that. India is the only country in the world which is, along with a BS6 Step 2, has a cowl truck. You understand a cowl truck, which maybe for the audiences, this is a half-built cabin where a driver is sitting on a wooden chair.
And that vehicle must be some recycled engine or something.
No, it's a new vehicle which rolls out of the assembly line.
Achha.
And then it goes like that to a bodybuilder where a wooden cabin is made, right? Because people believe a wooden cabin keeps it more cool during summers. Doesn't match with science, but that's the perception, right? India is the only country which is doing that. Right? Now we talked about air conditioning, which just happened. I thought at that time this will go. No, it still is there, right? Where we see some AC kits attached to the chassis, and that can be installed in a wooden cabin.
And some old technology and recycled engines working.
So
that's another part of it.
Also get rid of those of things, legacy things, and move on.
So you have to gain something to give up something also, which
absolutely
is a very. Now coming to since we moved to Euro 6, better technology. And we have a good auto component base across the country. In every industry, we say we are in the top 3, top 4. What stops us from being a global export hub? And government also talks Make in India. Still, the numbers are there, but they don't.
Numbers are there, but
they don't. They're not something which to be really proud of. I mean,
I believe we can do a lot more.
So, what's stopping that? What needs to be done for that? And now we have initially we used to say that we don't have the right products, we don't have the right technology, we don't have BS6, the world market likes this. Now we have everything.
We have everything, but there are some things which are still holding us. And I will touch upon some of them. One is, it's many times we say we need regulations which should be specific to India because we are unique.
We're unique.
Yes, there are some uniqueness about every country. But somewhere we have to harmonize these as well.
So again, symphony issue comes in.
Again, symphony issues comes in. If you don't, then you can't just ship the vehicle to another country. Because first you have to update the regulation, right? You have to get it tested. That itself is a long gestation period. So that's a barrier which we have, which I think we should eliminate. The second is, do we have trade barriers? Yes, we have today, right? We have to do more FTAs.
Which is started.
Which is started, and we have to pick up pace and get those done. I think the government is fully behind that, and that will really help. I give you one example from our, right? We are not a member of ASEAN FTA, right? So we have a plant in India, we also have a plant in Indonesia, right? We ship kits from here to Indonesia. Now it's more competitive for us to actually use Indonesia and then ship products to Thailand or other
neighboring countries.
Right? It has become more competitive to do it from there than from here, right? While we want to do it from here. So I think we have to also get rid of that. The third aspect is quality. I think we still have to.
Actually, still have. Generally, we assume that the quality angle.
We have improved, but we still have to cover some gap in delivering consistent quality, right? And the fourth part is a bit more philosophy. Where do we position India when it comes to exports, right? If someone is looking for quality, they looked at Japan traditionally, right? If someone was looking for cost, they went to China. What's India's narrative? I think that's also another aspect which we should fix.
Since we're talking so many initiatives, whether in regard to fuel, whether it is of positioning India, what is a central body or a central authority or a sutradhar who's going to align all these things together? One is, you can say all the stakeholders should sit down, they should align. That's one thing, but there has to be some upper force which has to align. So
Right.
what's your view on that?
It's a very difficult question. Not such an easy solution. I think when it comes to the government, our Sutradhar is Ministry of Heavy Industries.
Okay.
Right? They are the custodians for the automotive industry. Right? And maybe there is a chance to better organize ourselves there, because the regulations are with Ministry of Road Transport.
There are
right?
various ministries.
When it comes to fuel efficiency, then it's another government industry, government.
So harmonizing that
department, right?
also.
So I think we could be more faster if we have some
Single window clearance.
single window
Clearance.
kind
A
of
single window
approach, yeah.
alignment or
Yeah.
negotiation or discussion.
Yeah.
So, coming to the last part. So then we are sitting in 2025 and let's do some crystal gazing in 2035. And we'll do crystal gazing in terms of numbers, in terms of India's position. Where do you think, if things we do well, I mean, I'm not saying try to do the impossible, where should India be in 2035? What's your wish list? And wish list has to be practical, which is possible.
India or the CV industry?
CV industry of India.
CV industry of India. Well, if I look 10 years hence, and not so easy to do in today's context, where things could
But you're
change
talking about 10,
dramatically.
you're talking about 10, 15 roadmap. So that way it should logically be easier.
I think by that time, even if I remain conservative, the industry should be at least 1.5 to 1.7 times of what it is today.
That's for domestic.
Yes,
And
I'm
for
talking about the
exports?
domestic.
Okay.
I'm talking only about the domestic CV
exports?
industry. So from, let's say, 900,000, we could easily be 1.5
Which should be
to
possible.
1.7 million, right? Which is a great
achievement.
volume. Gives us scale, gives us efficiency, and makes us more competitive. When it comes to export, today what we do, 100,000 trucks exported around the world. I think we could multiply this by at least 2 to 3 times
3 times, big.
in these.
So that's a big jump.
China did it. They went from 70,000 to 250,000.
Okay.
We could also do that. So that's the growth part. I think by that time, all trucks will be connected. Telematics would be the hygiene of the industry. Our fleets would be much more efficient. Thankfully, we Indians are very
Infrastructure should
digital
be
savvy. So this would be embraced very, very fast. We would be in the transition period of
fuel.
the fuels, right? So we will have
And different fuels may evolve differently across time.
Absolutely.
You don't know. I suppose hydrogen
Absolutely.
evolves beautifully. I don't know.
So the best guess for me is electric would be, let's say, 20 to 25% of the total industry volume. Gas would be another 10 to 15%. Hydrogen would have started to come by then.
And you said fuel agnostic should be the policy. If something evolves faster.
Yeah.
So that's a fascinating journey. My last question, which is, I noticed the controversial, 2 things which the auto OEMs should give up doing if they have to do better. And I'm not talking about your company. 2 things which they are doing they should not do.
All right. Well, I think first thing is we should think very global now. I think the auto industry in India has become very mature. It is also quite big.
So think global.
But for us, I sometimes feel, and I'm including myself in it, right? Our company in it. We sometimes think too much, okay, this is how we will do it because this is how it is done in India.
Think global.
I think we should start to think
The perspective is
global, right?
That's
When
one.
we invest, we should invest keeping global volume in
So
mind.
that's one point. Any other
Right.
point?
The second is give up things which
Legacy things.
legacy things which you don't need in future, because they are kind of rooting us or holding us back, right? So think big, think global, and give up the
And
old.
2 things which the government should do, either they do better or they do new which they're not doing.
I think they should fast pace what they are doing.
Okay.
when it comes to infrastructure, investments, encouraging all of us to export and go global. They should
Fast pace.
absolutely fast pace. Many times we feel a bit that, no, we should not open the borders
because it's
no, I think the industry is very, very capable today. We have
fast pace.
all what is needed to fight on a global stage.
Okay.
So let's bring those barriers down. And as I talked about the regulation roadmap, if we can do this for next 15
great.
years.
So Satyakam, so it's been great. I've been 4 decades in the auto industry, but I have gained so many insights of the industry today which I didn't have. So I can show the audience would even gain much more. So thanks very much for the very detailed, simple but insightful insight to industry and the roadmap which you have shared with us. So it's been a fascinating discussion. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I thoroughly enjoyed the
Thank you.
conversation.
Thank you.